Guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birthday given name. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Tuesday, guys. Whew, you talking about a long day. Let me just tell you. So I want to share this with you guys really quickly. Being the visionary that I am, right? Just meaning that God shows me stuff, and the things that he shows me, tells me, downloads to me, it always manifests. Like it always manifests. However, when I think back on those things, not one thing, at least not that I can think about, not one thing came without a fight. Now, what does that fight look like? That can be a number of things for different people. For some people, that may be faith, because some of you, maybe you thought that you heard God at some point and then you got disappointed. Hope deferred, make the heart sick, that type of thing. So it's like now you're almost afraid to believe again. I want to say something about that really quickly. Sometimes it's not that you heard God wrong. Sometimes you heard God correctly, but it's not the timing. You hear people say things like God timing is the best timing. God timing is the best. And I promise you, it is so true. But then nobody got time for that. Like, listen, well, Lord, we do, right? We do. I'm trying to make a point here, right? Hear me, hear me. When you're in it, when you're waiting for it, it seems excruciating. Unless you're one of those people who are blessed with the gift of patience, then you don't really mind waiting on God. But to those of you who patience is not like your very, very strong point, waiting on God is hard. It's very, very hard. So you don't want to hear it when people say it to you. Oh, it's not God's timing. It's not God. But I promise you, it's so true. And you don't realize it. You don't realize it until you come out of that waiting season. Because when it manifests through God, when God manifests and you're in alignment to receive it, you learn. And you know clear as day that if God had released that thing 1 minute too early, you would have screwed it all up. Like seriously, you have an appreciation for the fact that God made you wait. There's an appreciation. Because anything that you work hard for in general, you're going to respect it. You're going to cherish it differently versus it was just given to you easily. So I want to share that really quickly. So if you're feeling like I didn't hear God wrong, I didn't hear God correctly, I heard God wrong. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But maybe God just shown it to you or told you about it and even expose you to it so you can actually see what you're working towards, to see certain things that's already in the room that you might need to really prepare to war against, or even like sometimes God will give you a glimpse of the room and pull you back out of the, and it's the most frustrating thing. He will give you a glimpse of where you're going and he'll pull you back from it. And it's really for you to just get an idea. Because the things that he will give you in the process, the insights and the more revelations that you receive in the process, then it will all make sense on why he exposed you to it. So just trust his timing. Trust his timing. But back to what I was saying. So every single thing, especially if it's like, larger scale blessings, everything came with a fight. Now and again, that fight can look like faith for some people. That fight can look like perseverance. That fight can look like determination. That fight can look like extreme warfare. That fight can look like just distractions. I'm talking about pulling you 30 different places at one time. Like there's a number of things on what that fight can look like, but you're going to have to fight. You have to fight for the territory. So whatever's going on, whatever it is for you, you got to press through it. Distraction can look like there's some place that God have called you to be. You know this is where you're supposed to be. It can be a different country. It can be a different state. Like all hell breaks loose. You can't find your passport. You got to go through the whole process again. Like, I mean, Everything. It's like everything goes haywire. But it's easy to just say, you know what? This is just too much. It's not even worth it. I'm just going, listen, you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to press through whatever is trying to hold you up or distract you from the promise. It's just not. Now, some blessings will just kind of just fall into your lap, right? I mean, I don't think I can think about one. I don't know. But you got to fight. You got to get some roughness. You got to get some determination. You got to fight. Because let me just tell you something. For some of you, for a lot of you, and you will know because this is your confirmation, not revelation. It's time. It literally is time. I mean, God is making that so clear in the spiritual realm to those who are tapped in. It is time. But again, time doesn't mean it's going to come knock on your front door, right? God says He has a spouse for you, but you're shell up in your house. You're just shell up in your house. You're just like, I'm never going to leave my house. I'm never going to listen. It's time. So this is a season right now where we have to be bold. We have to be fearless. And again, everything in that process, everything in that wilderness, everything in that struggle have equipped you for this time. But like I said in the recording, I think a couple of days ago, it's so crazy because it's like when you're in the process, like you're waiting anxiously. You're waiting. Like you're frustrated with God because like, God, what's taking so long? What's taking so long? And when the time arrives, it's almost like we want to shrink back. We want to shrink back. And then some of you also, now this happens a lot. Sorry guys. I speak about this frequently. With some of these blessings, it's so much of a fight that when the door opens, you're just tired. You just want to lay down and relax your nerves. It's almost like, God, thank you. I knew you said this 4 years ago. I trusted. I had faith. I knew you would. And you finally have. Thank you, Lord. Now I just want to take a nap. Like some of those things will wear you out so bad that you didn't see it. Speaking of that, some of you are already in the blessings, like it literally is in your hands, right? You're in the land and you're now realizing that it's work. You're realizing that it's work, which I typically speak on because again, you have people who just speak on these promises, let it be ministries or kingdom spouses or businesses or whatever the land is. They just speak about like it from this exciting place, which it is this exciting place, but almost to the fairy tale type of mindset. And then when people get to the land and then they realize it's work, it's almost like they're disappointed and they're feeling like this was not God. No, it was God. But when did God ever tell you it would be easy? That was those folks on YouTube telling you everything was Disney World. Oh, the promise is work. It's elevation, but with elevation comes what? Oh, it's work. So yes, it's great. Yes, it's grand. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it's peaceful. Yes, it's all the stuff, but it's still work. You're here to work. It's just a different kind of work, but you still got to work. Maybe just in a different way, but it's still work. So I want to share that with you guys because I got a download that was so clear as day for me to jump on and tell you guys that don't let all of this distraction, all of this storms, all of the warfare, whatever it is that you're going through, the fear tactics, however the enemy is, whatever he's using to kind of just like really stress you out, don't let that take your eyes off of the promise. Don't let that make you ungrateful for the promise, right? Because it's work. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So whatever it is, for me, it's I'm talking about distractions to the 25th power. It's distractions to the 25th power. But because I'm a very strategic person, right? And God always give me, and see, God will, The promise is yours, so God has to help you. He wants to help you. He needs to help you. So you got to tap in. You got to stay tapped in spiritually, no matter how crazy and chaotic things is. You got to connect spiritually, because God will give you some kind of strategic download on how to move and maneuver around certain things where you're ducking and you're dodging. Like it's stressful, it's heavy, but you're still getting things done. That can look like in the physical realm, somebody didn't come pick up the baby, right? His mother didn't show, the father didn't show, and you had a whole day that you needed to go to the library maybe and get things done for the promise. Like God already been clear and told you, listen here, you've been dragging your feet. I need you to do this, and that, because you've been dragging your feet in the wilderness when I told you to get it done. So now that it's accelerated, I need you to accelerate. And so now, boom, out the blue, somebody hit you. I can't pick the baby up again. Honey, put that baby on your back. Put that baby on your back, honey. If you got to walk to the library, get there. That's how determined and how strategic you have to be when it comes down to some of these promises, because the enemy is not going to give it up easily. You're going to have to fight. I'm just going to tell you now. I tell people that all the time. People in my personal life or whoever, my staff, they're always like, Kizzy, oh, I admire you so much. Honey, I fight. Oh, I fight. Oh, I fight. So sometimes when you see people move a certain way, you just tend to think like God has favors. Honey, have a conversation with some people who you deem to maybe think that God is using them in some kind of way. Oh, honey, it's a fight. Oh, it's a fight. Floyd Mayweather, listen, it's a fight. I'm just going to tell you. What you going to do, boo? It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.